The truth is harsh, so let's get straight to the point. He was avoiding you. Not by chance, not by misunderstanding. It was intentional. He distanced himself because you broke him inside. The facade he built, that mask he used with everyone, you tore it to pieces with just one look, one conversation. Deep down, he is tormented. While you think he is moving on or has forgotten about you, the truth is different. He thinks about you all the time. In every smile he gives, in every place he goes, your presence is there, haunting him. You're not imagining this. It's real. He is always comparing you with anyone else who comes into his life, and no one comes close. He looks for you on every corner, in every crowd, an endless and futile search because his courage simply doesn't keep up. He already said he needed space. You know it was a flimsy excuse. The space he needed was between. The courage to admit what he feels and the fear of exposing himself. While you sleep, he revisits old conversations. On his phone, thinks of 1,000 ways to send you a message, but ends up erasing everything before sending it. He misses you, but he doesn't have the courage to admit it. Seeing you and not speaking is a relief and torture at the same time. You felt it, didn't you? That sudden change, the excuses that barely made sense, that growing space between you two that he forced. It's not in your head. The reason is the fear you provoked in him. Fear of you seeing who he really is. You're not wrong. He is terrified, afraid of not being enough, of you noticing the cracks beneath the surface he hides from everyone. While he is locked in this cycle of self-doubt and paralysis, you continue living. Looking at your phone, waiting for a message that never comes, for a sign that isn't there. The hours you spend in, questioning, blaming himself for the distance, he goes through life wrestling with doubt and regret. Meanwhile, he tries to fill every second to leave no room to think of you. Do you hear that noise in the night? It's the sound of his mind screaming for you. He tries to forget in the midst of mundane distractions, but it's futile. He drowns in loneliness. Amid the noise, it's still you that he hears. Do you know what he really feels? He loves you. Almost said it so many times, but the words never came out. He fears that by saying it, he'll lose you for good. So he hides, chooses the cold of distance over the risk of losing you to a failed attempt. But you already know this, right? You always knew. And while he freezes in time, you watch time slip away. Every passing second is a missed opportunity, and both of you become prisoners of what was never said, of what was never lived. You want him to take action, but meanwhile, there you are, stuck in a silent wait based on imagining what could have been if only he had the courage. He is the only one who can change this, but the brutal reality is that no one guarantees he will break this cycle. And you are there, dealing with the beast of uncertainty, hoping that one day he finds what he's lacking, the courage to admit what lies behind the deafening silence. So, hold on to this raw truth. He loves you, but fear is stronger. And for now, that won't change. You knew this already. You've known for a long time, and you face the harsh routine of living with this uncertainty, while he, lost, watches time pass and the chance slip through his fingers, and both of you remain there, stuck, separated by fear and silence. This is the truth. Raw, painful, but it's the reality that you have to deal with now. He won't do anything until he faces his own demons, and this is what remains for you. The weight, a weight that both of you have chained yourselves to. You always knew this. It's no surprise, it's just brutal. This person you can't get out of your head was avoiding you, yes, on purpose. Stop trying to convince yourself otherwise. From the beginning, it was a conscious choice, like when he decided not to reply to your messages right away, or pretended to be too busy to see you. He knew exactly what he was doing. This person is a mess inside. Every time you showed up, you brought out a vulnerability he never wanted to admit. You showed him parts of himself he preferred to keep hidden. He said he needed space, but the truth is, he needed time to deal with what his feelings for you were doing to him. While you try to sleep and can't, this person is also awake, staring at the ceiling and thinking about what he should have done. He writes messages to you that he never has the courage to send. All those unspoken words burn in his throat. He tries to erase you from his mind with other people, but the truth is you held a mirror up to him, and he didn't like what he saw. He avoided you because he needed to have control over his emotions, over the narrative of his own life. You messed all that up. You made him question every certainty he had. Now he finds himself scrolling through your social media, looking at your photos in silence, with that tightness in his chest that comes from knowing it's entirely his fault. You felt it, didn't you? That unsettling intuition that something was wrong? It wasn't just in your head, it was real. Deep down you always knew the truth, that he was scared, that he was running away. Not from you, but from himself. And he hid this behind flimsy excuses about lack of time and urgent commitments. Meanwhile, you are left waiting for answers, for clarity, trying to understand why someone who seemed so involved with you simply pulled back. And as much as you'd like to think it's just your paranoia, you know it's not, that you can't. To ignore the signs he gave you, even when he thought he was being discreet. He is scared, a paralyzing fear of not being enough, that you see through the facade he presents to the world and find the insecurities that he hides. He tries to convince himself that he can find someone who won't force him to confront his own demons, but deep down, he knows it's a lie. And so he continues in silence, hoping that somehow you will still be there when he finally manages to resolve what prevents him from being honest with himself. All the while you're left in limbo, in that endless waiting, questioning what you could have done differently. But here is the hard and raw truth. It wasn't about you, it never was. It was about him, about what he couldn't face, about the fear of being truly vulnerable. He avoids you because confronting all of this head-on hurts more than pretending everything is fine. And meanwhile, you continue. With doubts, yes, but increasingly aware of what you deserve. It's a sum of absences that shout a truth he doesn't want to accept. The reality doesn't change. You were right all along. And every moment of his indecision only reaffirms what you already knew, and he will continue like this, doing nothing, until the day he realizes that you moved on, because life doesn't stop while he decides to be brave. But you already knew that. He avoided you intentionally. There's no way to soften this, you noticed. That delay in responses, the feeble excuses not to meet you. He said he was swamped with work, but you saw through the lie. He was scared of facing what he feels when he's near you, because while you turn to the side and try to sleep, he's in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that could have been said and wasn't. You know, those messages you don't see, that's right, drafts of his insecurities. The phone in hand, fingers trembling over the keyboard, but then comes the block. Whatever. He said you guys need to take a break, a story to make you believe. What he needs is courage. Courage to face the fact that you've entered deeper into his heart than he'd like to admit. After all, you are the only one who can see through that facade of confidence he shows to the world. Do you remember the last time you saw each other? The way he avoided looking into your eyes made it clear there was something more. It wasn't just discomfort, it was panic, because you make an impact that he doesn't know how to deal with. And he's terrified that one day you'll realize he's not the incredible guy you think he is. He tries to move on with someone else, but you know. The truth is, during those outings, he's partially absent. Smile on his face, but not in his eyes. You felt that, right? Because you felt that tightness every time you saw his social media updates. He tries to convince himself that everything is fine, but deep down he knows he's broken inside. He's already rehearsed running into you by chance. Do you know your favorite morning coffee place? He passed by there hoping to run into you. It never happened. Or maybe he stayed hidden, watching from afar without the courage to take that decisive step. And in the meantime, you keep living, adjusting your patched-up heart with a smile here, a night out with friends there. But the brutal truth, that burns like the strong drink of lonely nights, is that you're in limbo waiting for him to finally decide. Only the decision doesn't come, because his fear continues to be greater than his desire. He's already imagined you in his life, for real. Not just in fleeting moments, but occupying the space on the couch, laughing in the kitchen, sharing the trivialities of daily life. He sees you, there, but he doesn't yet have the means to make that dream a reality. Ah, and you're not crazy. The feeling of noticing someone paying attention even from a distance, lurking, investigating your digital life, curious about your friends, wanting to know if anyone else has genuinely earned your smile. Meanwhile, time passes. You continue waiting, wondering if he will ever admit what's going on in his head. But until then, you remain in limbo, your dreams tied to someone who says one thing but does another. And this is the harsh truth. He is paralyzed by fear. He is aware of it. You know he is aware of it. And yet no movement. You have known this truth. Maybe you didn't want to admit it. But now that it's here, bare and exposed, it hurts like a path of shards. He avoided you on purpose. This is the hard truth. Not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much. He thought he was protecting you from himself, from insecurities he couldn't master. While you were wondering what you did wrong, he was battling demons he couldn't explain. This person is constantly at odds with themselves. They wake up and immediately remember your smile, but immediately try to push the thought away, because it hurts. It hurts to know they let go of the person who saw their flaws and chose to stay anyway. You know this because you felt the space he created. You felt it every time he ignored your messages or left your questions unanswered. It wasn't just in your head. He was, in fact, pulling away. And you saw it. In the way he changed the subject. In the prolonged silence. In the moments when he disappeared without convincing explanations. You weren't imagining it. He was avoiding you because he thought it was for the best. He is afraid. Afraid of hurting you, but even more afraid of being there. Vulnerable. He saw in you someone who looked beyond the confident facade he so carefully creates for the world. That terrified him, because for the first time there was a real chance of being exposed, of having to face parts of himself that he prefers to hide. While you sleep, he sits on the bed staring at the ceiling and questioning his own decisions. He picked up his phone more than once to check your old conversations, to really feel your presence through the saved words. He doesn't send messages, doesn't make calls. He just watches you in silence, waiting for the internal chaos to calm. And of course it doesn't happen. He used to say he was busy. Lie. He was too busy trying to solve an emotional puzzle, one in which you were the central piece he didn't know how to fit, without collapsing the rest of the image he painted of his life. Even when he was at some event, whether at work or at just some dinner, you were there, always in the corner of his mind, weaving memories he tried to avoid. And meanwhile you remained lost, trying to understand conflicting realities between the words said and the actions shown. You waited. You patiently waited for a sign, a move, something that conveniently never came. And he sees you, always imagining you leaving, finding someone who won't leave you waiting. And he fears that more and more because, among all the people trying to fill the empty space he left, none come close to being you. So, he's stuck in this cycle, not knowing if he should risk breaking it and losing you for good. He's imagined you coming back, declaring yourself so many times, but never bothered to try and do something to deserve it. The brutal truth is that he's in love. It's as simple as that. At least it could be if he wasn't so determined to fight against it. Pride is the one he chooses to drink daily, and that. The same pride is what keeps the words stuck in your throat. While you try to go on with your life, he watches from a distance, hoping, silently, that one day you'll send that high message. He mentally replays those conversations where you disarmed him with sincerity and misses feeling so vulnerable and accepted at the same time. And you already knew that. Deep down, you always knew that the problem wasn't a lack of feelings, but an excess of them. Both afraid of moving them in the wrong direction, ended up not moving them at all. So you continue living. He continues watching. And time, relentless, keeps passing, like sand through fingers. And that is the truth that deep down torments you, that he chose the safety of silence over the uncertainty of a life by your side. You felt it in the way he recoiled into himself when things got serious, a person trapped in a world of his own creation, full of unspoken desires. That is his reality, and you always knew that. Now all that remains is for you to decide what to do with this truth, while he stays stagnant, waiting for time to offer clarity or for something to change without him needing to act. You hold the choice in your hands. You can wait as you have been for an uncertain future, or more painfully. You can move on knowing that destiny should not wait for the indecision of those who fear to love. He will continue watching you from afar, wishing to be the brave person that he cannot be. And this is the brutal truth. He loves you, but fear and pride are still greater, and only he can change that. And if you keep waiting, you might end up realizing that you're single in a relationship that never began, and you already knew that. You always knew.